I want to get into a topic that we believe has been on the lips of Kenyans this week, and that's of course the public outrage and debate that we saw over the emergence of a video of a boy speaking utter obscenities on social media. And of course, it's a class 7 boy who posted the video on Instagram insulting another student, and it's gone viral after that and caused a lot of discussion about what could have happened, what challenges is this young boy facing. And another video was posted yesterday as well. Now we have a very comprehensive panel here with us in studio that will help us to take a look at some of these issues. And talking about the rights of children in a digital age, you must have children in the panel to discuss what they're going through. And so I want to give each of my panelists just 30 seconds to briefly say their name, and then we play that clip just to refresh your memory about that particular incident. Let's start. Just your name and what school you're from, or what you do if you're here beyond a school-going age. Let's start with you. Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Abigail Mikali Lumumba from St. George's Girls Secondary School.
Welcome. Please pass the mic. Go ahead.
My name is Caleb Ndaka, and I teach kids in rural and slum areas how to use computers from typing to coding.
Thank you.
Okay. No,
you don't need the mic. You have your mic already. Go ahead.
My name is Upendo Nawire from Total News.
From Total Youth?
Yes.
Total News.
Total News?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
I was a student at Jabali Christian School. Brilliant.
Fantastic. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Alex Kakuru. I'm the Executive Director of Code IP Trust, and we are running a youth online safety program called Web Rangers, funded by Google.
Okay.
Thank you so much. My name is Otoa Sifuna. I'm a teacher, a mentor, and very social philanthropist who believes that this society needs nurturing and correct direction.
Okay. She has her own microphone.
Okay.
My name is Ojiro Gige, and I'm a psychologist.
All right, brilliant. So let's set the pace for this conversation. This happened last week when a young boy, class 7 pupil from Consolata, hurled insults on social media, and a lot of questions came up. First of all, should they even have access to phones? How are they using the internet? And what is the backlash like for him, because the public outrage was directed towards him as well? How does he deal with that? But first, this is what happened. Watch.
I'm on the roof of my parent house, and so I have tea for you.
Perched on an unidentified rooftop and donning Consolata school uniform, the boy, said to be in class 7, spewed his rants, using unprintable expletives against a fellow pupil, a standard 4 girl who he alleged had referred to him as being gay.
She was just looking at us the way you look at her badly. And
social media was awash with reactions, some bashing the young boy for his foul language and threats to the girl. Within minutes, the boy had posted one more video, this one an apology.
I want to say sorry to the public for all this bad content I've done. I know I shouldn't have overreacted like that, even putting it on public like that.
The girl's name was soon a trending topic on social media platforms. Reports suggested the police officers attached to the children's department visited Consolata school early morning following the boy's threats. The school declined to comment on the video or the status of the boy, but the incident has opened a window into the dark secrets of the activities of children on social media. Psychologists say the children are crying out for help.
If all children were monitored, even if they are given these gadgets, and you're there with them as a reflective parent, I say, the problem is you've allowed them and you're an absentee parent. They will discover, they will explore.
Suba North legislator Amelia Odhiambo took to social media blasting users for what she termed as cyberbullying. While asking them to refrain from sharing the young boy's video, the outspoken legislator said in part, he is still evolving. With proper guidance, he will turn out right. If you're a parent, be sensitive. While agreeing with the MP, psychologists say that this is not an isolated case and parents need to be more present in the lives of their children.
If teachers notice such a child, parents notice such a child, or even the society is a child that needs serious assessment and intervention at that age. This is adolescence. It is a stage whereby most adolescents are trying to balance the way they think and the way they feel. And what he's saying is true. We only need to watch and see how he graduates to the next level. Because if relevant interventions are done now, just like for all the children who are like him, they don't graduate to young adulthood with that kind of behavior.
The Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, has told Citizen TV that they will not be pursuing any criminal case against the boy, saying he needs more parental and school counseling.
So, Higgs, there are 3 different aspects to this. One, there's the bullying. 2, there's the abuse of social media, and 3, there's the monitoring and absentee parenting. So how do you handle these 2 and ensure that technology is used for good?
I think some of the panelists are more prepared to answer that question than I will, and as I called some of them, they had interesting views that I hope they'll be able to bring up as well. And then of course there's another video that popped up yesterday, and so if this is going to be something that's recurring, what can be done?
Should it even be given airplay now, because they think that being famous is a good thing?
Well, that video is going viral on people's phones.
It's going viral now because they even talk about, I want to make my friend famous like I was. This is coming after the apology. So now they think the traction they're getting online is a good thing.
So I guess the question is now, what's happening in schools right now? And I think that's why we have Abigail Lumumba here, who's from St. George's Girls. Just tell us, how does bullying manifest in your generation right now?
Personally, in my school, it doesn't happen because I think we have created a community in my school and a family situation where we are all sisters and we all love each other and we are all tight. So for example, if you come and try to just act like bullying a Form 1, then you'll be in deep trouble because the administration is strict and they're monitoring us. Our teachers are very concerned. If you have a problem or you feel like you're not comfortable, they're always ready to listen. So I think it's something that everyone should try and borrow from our school.
When you saw this video clip, I'm impressed at how she supports the school. But when you saw this video clip, what was going through your mind? Is that the kind of language that your peers use right now as we speak?
More often than not, that's what happens. But I think it's because we have really adopted the Western culture, so everyone thinks it's just normal or it's something that people don't mind anymore. So I think the old people or the people, our you know, like parents and our elder brothers and sisters should just try and explain to other fellow teens who are just so engaged on the Western culture that things such curse words or something, it's not necessary. You can use other words to explain yourself or something. Yeah.
Briefly tell me this. So you've talked about that this doesn't happen in the school that you're in, but what do you hear about other schools? And you don't have to mention names, but what are you hearing out there? Is bullying going on elsewhere?
Yeah, bullying is going on.
And how does it manifest? What examples can you give us?
In the tuck shop. Or
the tuck shop where people go buy food?
Yes.
What happens there?
You can get a Form 1, and this Form 1 is just, you know, like just someone who's trying to discover herself or himself from primary school. Then the Form 4 is because obviously you don't want to go and squeeze in the line, so they will just send the Form 1, and the Form 1 maybe he or she won't even get anything from what he has been sent. So the Form 1 feels like, what am I supposed to do? But he really wants to be the friend to this guy, so that he will keep on taking advantage of the small person because he thinks like he won't do anything, or brushing for people's shoes and washing their clothes because the Form 1s won't do anything because they're not outspoken. They have not been given the opportunity, or no one has told them that, you know, you can tell me what's happening. So they are just enclosed in such.
All right, let's bring in Upendo on this and hear your thoughts. How does it manifest from where you are? Have you seen it with your peers in terms of bullying?
Well, not in my school or anywhere else I've had. I've never really had any of them talk about cursing or those stuff. But I've had a lot of grown-ups talk about it like that.
What would you do if a friend of yours was being bullied? Would you know what to do?
Well, if a friend of mine was being bullied, I would feel deep pain for them. Because bullying doesn't really happen because someone did wrong a lot of times. It's usually due to the person bullying because they feel either sometimes they do it for their ego or they do it because of their own pain and suffering in their own lives. So they do it.
I hope I was insightful. So they do it. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So they do it to just. So a lot of people would say that the person bullying is the problem. But the real problem can be caused by the parents or the type of culture they've been growing in.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Daka, my brother, you're seated between two very smart young ladies. What can you add to this conversation?
I do believe the conversation should begin by saying that whatever we are seeing online is just a representation of what is happening offline. So for me, the bottom line begins with our parents, us as educators, us as a community, we are creating an environment for these kids to feel secure, to feel accepted, and to feel that if I'm wronged, there are better ways of addressing that than just going all out there and using those strong words. So the bottom line for me is the environment that we are raising up our kids.
So you say that the bottom line is this is a manifestation of what's going on offline. Therefore, it's the parents to blame, and the people, the society, and the teachers as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the parents take the higher blame for this.
But there are many people who say you can't police the internet, you can't police what your children are going through. What would you suggest? Should they take away the phones, or should they have limited time of viewing? Because this is also what's going on TV, and Abigail brought it up, saying we're adopting the Western culture. Most of the songs we hear are things like that. Most of the movies we watch, they're such statements. So do you stop them from watching? How do you handle it?
Clearly, this is a dynamic conversation, but just a few things to say is that, you know, the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. So I would begin by asking everyone who is around that particular child. Me, for example, is an older brother. You, for example, is a parent. What role do you have to play just to enable this child know that what he did was wrong? But for us as parents, I do believe we have a higher responsibility of just ensuring that how that came out is well catered for and does not expose both the child but also us as a whole. Because, you know, sometimes you expose that and other kids learn. They feel it's a cool thing. They think that the kids becoming famous, so they want to, you know, curiosity can kill a cat. So
curiosity can kill a cat. I have a question that might come off as controversial, and let me bring in Shiro in on this. Is it fair to fully blame the behavior of a child on a parent?
No. Absolutely not.
You say that with
a straight no.
Straight no. I think we have a lot of madharau for each other.
Okay.
In what? Okay.
when you're blaming the parent, what you're telling me is that you have madharau for the parent. You imagine that you would not raise a son who does such things. And we forget that children are entities in and of themselves. On the call yesterday, I told you, children are through you, they're not of you. They still have a mind of their own. They can make their own decisions, and it's not. I find it's not.
At what age do you say
it's not
can,
that
from a psychological
the
perspective?
mother of a thief deliberately raised a thief? So for me to say that this child is a thief because the mother raised a thief is madharau for the mother, and also
does she have a role to play in terms of guidance, though?
No, children just make their own decisions.
And this is not influenced by you. You don't guide them in the right direction when your child.
You can guide them all you want, but if they choose to, are you trying to? How many children do we know who are currently in? Which is what now I call madharau, because how many children do we know who have currently, you know, they're addicted to alcohol or they're going through a season of toughness in their lives, and they were raised in what we call a good Kenyan home, Christian, upper middle class, best schools, and they have classmates who had a similar upbringing, and they have not, you know, they've not gone down the addiction route.
But we're basing that on the perception that it was a good family. Maybe it wasn't really a good family. My point here is,
I don't agree
if
with
your
that.
son comes home with a new pair of Air Jordans, and you know very well you did not give him the money for that, aren't you supposed to ask him where
and
he got
I am
it?
saying that even the mother of a thief asked, and the thief went on stealing. That's what I'm saying.
Oto, I can't wait.
I can't wait because Waiga and Trevor, I want to have a departure from the psychologist. When I was at the university, we learned some psychological information of a technical term called Tabula Rasa. Tabula Rasa means that when a child is born, whatever that is within the enclosure of that child is totally and completely empty. So over time, this child picks values, picks information, picks everything from the society. And I first of all want to exonerate all the teachers, the blame from all the teachers, because I'm a teacher. And I know what we do. We stay with these kids a quarter of the year duration. The parents stay, for my statistics, 3/4 of the duration is spent at school. Only a quarter is spent at home. And yet you see that a lot of these shenanigans we are talking about is emanating from the sheer relegation of the parental responsibility. Walk in town here, Waiga, you will see a lot of parents very busy, running up and down to make money. Go to the universities, they have enrolled for PhDs. evening, at night, the parent is 24/7 engaged. Where do you think this child is going to learn from? There are two things that really emanated from that clip, from this particular child. And one of the psychologists said that this child is crying. He is looking for a shoulder to lean on. This shoulder to lean on is totally absent. Two things. One, this child brought in the question of social difference in our society. Yeah. Yeah? He is saying and bragging that I'm on a rooftop of our magnificent house. You, my desk mate, you are a village guy, you are a slum dweller. What does that mean? It means that us as a society, we have allowed ourselves to be contemptuous, to look down upon. Where does that come from? From the way we parents, we caregivers, give. I cannot be a teacher and tell the students that do what I tell you, but don't do what I do. They learn better by doing rather than being told. So the rain has started beating us squarely because we have relegated our duties, all the way from the political class to the clergy to the values and morals. And I'm happy.
The teachers,
the teachers are the last man and women standing.
But they spend 3/4 of their time with
Yes, we are doing a lot, but this effort is being watered down because the parent is not executing her role. I'm quite convinced.
And it's important to say that you also sit here as a parent today.
Yes, I'm a parent, you know, and almost over 90% of teachers couple up as parents too. There is a problem, Wahiga. Until such a time, we shall walk with our children and tell them step by step that when you do this, this is the ramifications. Yes. When you do this, these are the consequences. And you also hold and uphold the name of your family. I'm just reckoning what situation the parents to this particular boy is looking at. Okay. And then finally religion.
Yes.
This is Consolata School. You and I know what the Catholic Church.
And remember, we don't want to get into specifics.
Yes.
That matter is being handled privately.
It's handled privately.
Yes.
But what is the role of the spiritual nourishment? What is the role of guiding and counseling? And that's what I want to underscore. That any teacher, worth his or her salt, must entrench a very robust guiding and counseling pastoral program to work with this child and educate them. It is girls to women, boys to men.
Thank you.
And the response to that is to say,
just can pass the mic as briefly. I know you want to respond.
My response to that is, it is not that children are as unparented. When you look at world statistics, we are currently spending about 80% more time with our kids as the whole globe than we did in the 1950s. It is not that children today are unparented. It's not even that children today are unsupervised. It is that people in the end end up making their own decisions. And now we need to sit down and ask ourselves, outside of parenting and outside of guidance, outside of making people feel guilty and like they're terrible parents, how else can we look, what else are the factors that are leading children to do some of these things? Because we can keep saying it's your fault and it's your fault and it's your fault and it's your fault, but at some point we have to ask ourselves, outside of saying it's so-and-so's fault, what else could be happening?
But this 80% time spending that you're talking about,
is
it really quality time, or are we spending the time with our children and I'm also on my phone and I'm just taking them out to run around and pay the bills?
Now those are the other factors to think through.
So, so the quantity doesn't really matter, it's more about the quality.
No, those are the factors that I'd like to look into moving forward, because I'd ask myself, in all scientific conversations, one of the first questions, it's a conversation on elimination. It's like, does this work? Does this not work? So in essence, you are working hard to disprove your own biases and your own theories and everything. So my question is, on one hand, we could say that it's westernization, but when I listen to my grandmother's talk and talk about generations before them, insults were a pretty common thing. So, well, we're not so sure whether insult is a Western idea as much as it's just humans insult each other world over. So now let's look at this child. This one child is on camera, unsupervised, on a rooftop, angry, very angry. What are they mad about? Number one, they're mad that somebody has used a painful part of their family dynamics to say that, to belittle them. It's to say, you act gay because your mother is not home. So that child, the bully, has questioned this boy's manhood, because in Kenya, gay and manhood are not synonyms. We somehow imagine that a gay person cannot be a man also. And so that's saying this child's manhood has been questioned, or sense of manhood has been questioned, or sense of identity has been questioned. And then we have brought
this plays off with other insults that anyone could be insulted in different ways.
Yes, anyone could be insulted in different ways. And then this child has also a very painful and shameful part of their living has been brought to light and used as an ought against them. I honestly think, I want to cancel that child for free. Like, can someone just hook me up with that child? I'd want to listen to them.
Okay.
One. And two.
Yes, final point, please.
I think, if I'm to be honest, and if the news are anything to go by, they had a much more civil reaction than many Kenyan adults. We have people killing women for far less. He just went online and spewed insults.
Fair enough. Thank you, Shiro, for that. Alex, your organization has recently trained at least 136 trainers, over 3,000 students on online safety. All right? So help us understand, what are the challenges and how are you carrying out this training? Let's imagine you're training Abigail, who's here with us today, and Upendo as well. What would you warn them about online safety? Because you have a program where you're training students to train other students, and I know Caleb and Daka has the same as well. Just maybe start us off from there. What are the challenges online for young kids?
I'll go to that challenge, but I want to quickly react to...
And I'll ask you to lift the mic closer.
I want to react to a point that has been raised by the two fellow panelists. Number one, I think I differ with the lady or the far end, respectively differ, because I think the biggest problem at the heart of it is that we have outsourced parenting. We have also substituted parenting by providing. So if we take a child to a very expensive school, we feel we are, wow, the school fees is so much. So we have substituted time with quality time, engaged time, not physical time that you are just with the kid, but are you communicating, are you bonding? And that has been a major theme recurring through and through. And just so that I give you statistics also legally, even the Constitution, Article 53(2), vests the responsibility, the best interest on the child, on the parent. And even the Children's Act, Section 19, even when it comes to even issues of privacy of a child, there is a caveat that a child's privacy is subject to parental guidance. So the whole issue is the parent at the end of the day, like it or not, you are responsible for this young person you brought into the world. Now, we have trained over 33,000 children. 33,000, and the number is rising. In the next 1 month, we'll have another 7,500 and probably about 1,000 teachers and parents throughout the country. And I look at it, these children we are seeing as a problem, they are actually the solution. Okay. If you just listen to these two children who are here, they have the answer. We make mistakes as adults to think we know it all. And then we also engage in blame game. I'm a teacher, you
Which we've seen a bit of right now.
You have already seen a bit of it.
Around this.
And by the way, there's a missing voice here. Yeah. We are not blaming government for not taking care of our kids. Again, we want to outsource that parenting because there's a problem to the government.
So tell me this, how long would you need with these two young ladies to train them, and what would you train them on? There are people watching who are thinking, now how do I train my child online safety and so forth?
We have a curriculum that teaches from 8-year-old to 18-year-old. And they are taken through the entire course. We actually got this course, we localized it. We had a lot of help from Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. We localized to Kenyan standards, which now teachers were involved and staff from KICD. We then trained over 40 scout leaders and youths who are from all over the country, training of trainers.
You know, you're using training. What are the terms? What are you training them on? Is it how to use a computer? Is it what to look out for, what not to look out for?
The whole spectrum, right from safe and responsible use of the internet.
Okay.
And there is a bigger theme that should accompany why you teach them to be safe. Why do they need to be safe? It's so that they can use the internet productively. And that's how we teach them, and also how to use the internet properly. But the best thing about this program is that just like these two, we aspire to make them ambassadors of safe, responsible, and productive use of the internet. So the curriculum is very broad. And so there's a teacher's guide and a student booklet. They'll be taken through the course. And it's from, and then by the time they are through, and there will be web rangers who are now ambassadors of safe internet use. When they see a situation that requires intervention, a fellow student interferes, intervenes, and they become keepers of their brother and their sister.
So very briefly, do you tell them the websites to avoid? Do you tell them the things not to write? Because that also sparks curiosity in human beings. When you tell me not to do that,
then they want to do it.
That's exactly where I'll
We
go.
teach them the principles.
Okay.
Because we don't have a filter. We don't tell them these are the sites to avoid, because others will come out. Even as we are here, others have come out.
Yeah.
When we talk of undesirable content, we focus on pornography, we focus on blood, we focus on violence, we focus on issues. And even when it comes to identity theft, we tell them how to identify a site you can trust and what you can't trust, be skeptical, what also to avoid. And then when you get hate, because bullying and so many other things that happen online, what kind of reaction should you take? You know, do you have all that hate and you react with love? For example, we give them skits, we tell them to act role play, we tell them to write poems with scenario construction, and then you sit back as adults and watch the kids. The solutions they have are absolutely amazing. We don't even have them as adults. This first works. That.
All right. They have better solutions than we do.
Okay, briefly.
Briefly, I just want to talk about the tools. But before I talk about the tools which we can help our kids and parents, I come from a school of thought that we are only working alongside the parents and teachers. The responsibility again for me is with the parent and the teacher. In terms of tools and tricks you can use, especially now to control the amount of content coming to your platform. For example, now on WhatsApp, if you're in a group, you can on the media side, you can select an option which can tell you only download when I want to download.
So there's no auto download.
There's no auto download.
Okay.
When it comes to surfing, right now Google has a safe, browsing. It has a Google Chrome, which is now safe for kids. It's not everything, but these are just steps to help these kids and these parents. But again, there's just a big gap in terms of digital literacy among parents and teachers.
Okay.